Greetings and salutations, dear viewers, and welcome back to the realm of Final Fantasy XIV. Today we're once again going into Alexander Midas for our final confrontation within. Specifically, we're going in the Burden of the Sun. This is where our final boss is, much as we had a final boss in going through Alexander Gordias. And this one is an experience. Sometimes these queues can get a little lengthy. I guess it depends on the time of week. Oh hey, Onslaught! I was wondering where you were. We only saw the other four. Okay, so before we get started, a couple settings that I want to check. For one, there's a cutscene you need to see. That aside, we're going to be fighting Onslaught, and this fight is not actually that bad. I feel like this entire section, this entire fourth section of Alexander Midas is actually easier than Midas 3. It's leagues more fun, though. Okay, so we can use, to start out, he can shoot out a giant laser. One thing to keep in mind, got a couple tank busters, or has a tank buster, as you saw there. But for the most part, he's not going to be doing a lot. Now, partway through the fight, you have enough time to get off a full rotation or so. He'll create these steam regulators around the arena. Now, if your team cannot manage to defeat all four of these steam regulators, somebody is slacking off. However, if you do manage, or if you manage to not destroy one of the steam regulators, it's not the end of the world. If you fail to destroy two or more, it starts to get a little more dicey, but one isn't that bad. I think on top of them exploding and doing damage to you, you also probably get a debuff on you, I'm sure. And as you saw in the middle of that, he shoots out a laser, so you gotta pay attention to that. Otherwise, back to the status quo. He also summons these orbs. I remember reading somewhere that you want to smash into other people's orbs, but not your own. So if you see an orb nearby that's not tethered to you, smash your face into it. Assuming you have health anyway. I mean, it's still going to blow up and it's still going to hurt. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and leave myself to auto-attack here for a moment because we're going to have to turn down everything except the background music. Because things are about to get a little more fancy. Oh hey, the whole team's here! Two more hop down, Brawl and Vortex, who we fought previously, so if you remember their fights, this is going to go very similarly. You're going to be combining mechanics and dealing with them at the same time, but not nearly as many large mechanics as you dealt with before. The standard is to kill Brawl first, and then go for Vortex. Brawl, of course, is going to be using the various lasers. He does not have the pointed drill laser thing he had before. He merely has the double laser and the single laser. Now, these two can be solo tank. There's not really a detriment to it. Vortex is going to be dropping down the fire and ice puddles throughout the arena, so that's something you're going to be wanting to jump around. He also does the large knockback that you just saw a moment ago, whose name escapes me. But that, for the most part, is all these two will do. Mostly, you take out Brawl first, because that double laser thing is something that's really hard to figure out halfway across the arena. Since, if you recall, everybody has to stack for the double laser, whereas the single laser gets eaten by only the tank. And that leaves us with only Vortex, who, of course, as I mentioned before, is still doing the Fire and Ice puddles, and is still going to be doing Super Cyclone. And if you see him do Super Cyclone, just try to wedge yourself in somewhere so you get knocked away. Now, next off is Blast Off and Swindle. These two... there is no real set order to these two. And it seems every time I do it, somebody wants to do something different. So I, honest to goodness, pick one, punch it until I notice everybody is fighting the other one. Then I go fight the other one. I chose correctly this time, and everybody's fighting Blast Off. Now, the mechanics in this one are, once again, going to be similar to what we saw before. Blast Off is going to be putting down the various clones of himself, who are then going to dash across the arena. Whereas Swindle is going to be doing the height maneuver with the platforms raising and lowering, and you have to pay attention to the stats effect you're on in order to not get hit by them. The circle mechanic is around as well, so you saw there were 2 orbs within the circle, so 2 people, and that includes the person who's being targeted by it, need to stand within that circle. Now, whereas the previous 2 were could be solo tanked, these 2 should not be solo tanked, despite the fact that we did it anyway. Because Blast Off actually gains a buff for how many things are near him. That includes Swindle, and it also includes the copies he made. And if you thought we were done yet, we're a far cry from done. And combined, they form Brute Justice! This is the greatest thing, man. Just listen to the music. This is like the most 70s, 80s giant robot anime I have ever seen, and it's beautiful. Combining robots! Okay, so a couple mechanics here that I've kind of glazed over, but we'll get back to a couple of them in a moment. He, of course, has the multiple red AoEs that he plopped down on the ground, run out of the way. You'll then see the marker that everybody needs to stack on the one AoE, so everybody has to run immediately back to that. He'll then do Apocalyptic Ray, which is just a conal AoE in front of him. That is ongoing, so don't stand in front of him even after he does it. And he will follow that with Super Jump. He then does some raid-wide damage, and then a couple flamethrowers on the tank. All this while, you can just be beating on him for a while, and this is the mechanic before where you saw the red circles, followed by everybody needs to stack. The stack, you have enough time on the stack to simply wait until everything, or until the red AoEs are gone. He then does Mega Beam, so don't stand in front of him, but you can see him, and all is well. Smashes the arena, and breaks apart again! And then everybody's doing their thing, and the music's playing! You're generally safe just standing along the edges, as I'm doing here, and as soon as the first 2 are done, run back towards the center to stack for the double laser. If you get targeted by fire or ice, of course, run off to the side so you're not just standing in it. And then as soon as you get hit by the laser, get near one of the corners. Watch your debuff. Red means stand on red, and then don't stand in the laser. With all said and done, they combine back in the middle, and you're once again fighting Bruticus. And the fight at this point repeats. Double Rocket Punch is a tank buster, so you shouldn't be hit by that one. Followed by the red AoEs, which you have time after those to all run back and stack again. And then followed by Apocalyptic Ray, which is ongoing. If you're going to limit break, immediately after this Apocalyptic Ray is the best time to do it. He will still no, after the super jump, you want to do it. Because after the super jump, he's not going to be doing any mechanics that you need to move for a little while. He'll do flamethrowers and some raid-wide AoE damage, but you don't have to worry too much, at least for the immediate moment. Of note, Super Jump, really annoying because it targets somebody seemingly at random. It's not, but seemingly at random, jumps in the air, smashes on them, and hurts everybody in the area. If you can't figure out who he's going to target, then it's really hard to not just get everybody hit by it. Right at the end of Apocalyptic Ray is when he designates who's going to be targeted by it, and who's targeted by it is the person who is farthest from him. So you can actually bait Super Jumps by, at the end of that Apocalyptic Ray, booking the crap away from him. And you'll notice that, hey, I'm the farthest from him, he will hit you. And that's the fight. The most 80s anime thing I have ever seen, and it's beautiful. Until next time, everyone.